Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, so let's begin. First up, New Hampshire safety. Officials monitoring situation after California shooting. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Dr. Robert Marshall and the team at Aesthetic Dental Center are proud to offer Invisalign, the popular clear alternative to braces that is changing people's lives.
At Aesthetic Dental, I've had the Invisalign procedure done. I really enjoy coming to Aesthetic Dental, and they just make it really simple. I'm extremely happy with my decision to get Invisalign.
This month only, get $500 off an Invisalign procedure at Aesthetic Dental Center. Call Aesthetic Dental Center at 603-224-1743 or visit aestheticdentalcenter.com.
News of another shooting tragedy spread quickly through New Hampshire. This time, 13 dead in a California bar, including the gunman.
With all of these shootings that are happening, you feel like you can't go to the movies, you can't go to school, you can't go to a concert, you can't go to a bar. Like, there's really no place that's considered really safe anymore.
No, you shouldn't be concerned, but, it's not surprising anymore. When you hear about these things, that's the sad part. It's not surprising.
It's devastating. I mean, it should never happen. I have family members who are police officers. So it just, it hits me hard,
New Hampshire Homeland Security Director Perry Plummer says his office is notified almost immediately of incidents like mass shootings, and the first thing they do is notify local police and look for any connection here.
In this case, it looks like although we don't know the motivation, it looks like a sole shooter in a nightclub, a commercial nightclub. So what we would do would look at that and say, is there anything that precautions that we need to take to protect our citizens?
Keith Murphy is a restaurant and bar owner. Like everyone, he was disturbed by the news.
I would say just spare a thought and a prayer for the people who lost loved ones. It's a very, very sad situation.
Perry Plummer also said today that many times tragedies like that in California, they can be avoided with early intervention. Reporting live in Bedford, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Protest in New Hampshire looking to protect Mueller investigation. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Center have been changing people's lives since 1979.
Aesthetic Dental and Dr. Marshall does amazing work. I have been to other dentists before in the past, and nobody can do what Dr. Marshall does, and it will truly change your life.
With innovative artistic approaches to cosmetic dentistry, Dr. Marshall and his team will create a beautiful, natural-looking smile you'll be happy to share. Call Aesthetic Dental Center at 603-224-1743 or visit aestheticdentalcenter.com.
From the Granite State to Boston and across the country, people are in the streets tonight with one goal.
Robert Mueller has to stay home. Hey, hey.
They fear President Trump might be trying to derail Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. After Jeff Sessions was forced to resign as Attorney General yesterday, Matthew Whitaker now oversees the special counsel's probe.
He's been a pundit basically talking about ways to kneecap the Mueller investigation. So we're here to protect Mueller. And we want Mueller to stay in place. We want the investigation to go forward.
In addition to Manchester, protesters gathered at the State House in Concord. More than 100 held signs in Hanover demanding Mueller be left to finish the job. And in Portsmouth, they lit up the words, "No one is above the law."
I feel an obligation, not only as an American, but as a state legislator who took an oath to uphold the Constitution. That Constitution is under threat by this president.
The White House says Mr. Trump has cooperated with Mueller and hasn't made any demands of Whitaker.
The president hasn't instructed him to do anything other than be the acting attorney general.
Have they talked about the investigation?
I won't talk about what the president talks about with any cabinet member. I've said that before, unless he does. But why would the president want to prolong the Mueller investigation? It makes no sense.
Sources telling ABC News tonight that Mueller and his team are in the process of writing a final report on the investigation, but it's not clear when that would be released. Reporting live in Manchester, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we will keep you updated on this, and if we get any new information, we will be sure to bring it to you right here on the Riley King Network. Mental health patients continue to languish in New Hampshire emergency rooms. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
Dr. Robert Marshall and the team at Aesthetic Dental Center can create a beautiful new smile for you in just one day.
I had a complete set of implants done. When I came here, they're warm and inviting. I just felt like this was the place to go, and I would do it again with Dr. Marshall in a heartbeat. He has changed my whole life. I can't thank him enough.
Learn more about getting teeth in one day by calling Aesthetic Dental Center at 603-224-1743.
In the summer of 2018, Deb Taylor's son Scott was in mental health crisis, deemed a danger to himself. As his guardian, she was advised to involuntarily admit him to the local hospital emergency room. They would send him to the state hospital for help. He languished there without it for 28 days.
I feel like I'm living in a third world country. Any other illness, you would not wait in the emergency room.
Scott Johnstone is not alone. The number of people waiting in an ER for a bed to open up at a psychiatric facility doubling in 4 years in the state, from 24 a day in 2014 to 49 now. 10 years ago, there was no waiting. So what has changed?
It's a combination of the kind of reduction in community resources. We had more inpatient beds. A few years ago, we had more transitional housing and other housing options for people who were in New Hampshire Hospital and were going to be discharged.
The state hospital has about 165 beds, but for the last 6 months has averaged 50 people ready to be discharged, but waiting for community-based services to be in place.
We know we have a mental health workforce issue in the state of New Hampshire. The community mental health centers have done a survey, and there's currently about 200 open positions across the 10 community mental health centers.
Another factor, the explosion in demand from both the spike in substance misuse disorder and the growing destigmatization of mental illness, finding more people coming forward and seeking help. Scott Johnstone went home after a 30-day stay at the state hospital. His mother says he'll need help for the rest of his life.
Which means he would go back to Memorial, get back on a waiting list, and go in again.
Long-term, DHHS is crafting a 10-year mental health plan. Short-term, they're working with hospitals to get services into the ER.
We have started treatment earlier in the emergency room, so we have, in terms of seeing a psychiatrist within 24 hours, working with social workers and PARS clinicians, which are our master's level clinicians.
Portsmouth Hospital knows the issue from two perspectives. It also has a 30-bed behavioral health unit, one of 5 designated receiving facilities in the state, and it's always full. Discharging to services, a challenge.
So that when somebody's leaving here, they have a follow-up appointment that they're meeting with, whether it's primary care in conjunction with therapy, psychiatry, outpatient programs. So it's a big part of our inpatient discharge planning.
make sure that we have the number of beds that we need, number one. Number two, I think we've got to address the workforce issue. So we need strategies that will incentivize people to go into this field.
In Portsmouth, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sears to shut 40 more stores early next year. Sears Holdings said Thursday it plans to close 40 more stores early next year as it continues to slim its business and seek to stem losses under bankruptcy protection. Thousands Oaks shooting, 12 dead, including officer, suspect identified. At least 12 people, including an officer, were killed late Wednesday when a gunman opened fire in a packed Southern California bar during its college night, leaving the community of Thousand Oaks in shock and in mourning. The lone suspect, 28-year-old David Long, was found dead inside the Borderline Bar and Grill after an overnight shooting. County Sheriff Jeffrey Dean said authorities believe he shot himself. And that is it for the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.